So, hello everyone and welcome. Actually, let me ask you guys, because I'm getting tired of saying hello everyone and welcome to episode etc. Chronicles of Tyria podcast, Guild Wars 2 podcast, for fans, by fans. Anybody have an idea what we should say, or what I could say at least once in place of that? Sup bitches. I like it. Welcome to the madhouse. Hello and enjoy this mindless gibberish.
How about all of these things combined?
Yes, with all of these things combined, our intro will be Captain Planet.
I see what you did there.
I mean, he is our hero, after all. Gonna take pollution down to 0.
Oh my god.
What, you guys don't want to help him put a sunburn on bad guys that like to pollute and plunder? I thought that's what we were going for. Whatever.
I think the people are asking for you to sing the Quaggan song.
You know what? I don't know. Maybe you should sing it, Kaysee, since you're the one who's been instigating all these things.
I forget.
That's a dirty, dirty lie, and you know it. You know exactly how to sing it.
Swimming, 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 all summer long. Swimming, 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 makes your flippers strong. That's as much as I'm gonna do.
Okay, I lied. We're gonna play that at the beginning of every Chronicles of Tyria podcast. Legitimately, though, out of all of those things, does anybody have a serious suggestion or something? Or, I mean, I can just keep going with, hello everyone and welcome. It just gets long after a while, so I don't know if anybody had anything.
I think it gets boring for you, but for us I think it's fine.
No, fair enough.
Well, does anyone know if anyone has, if any specific race or character in Guild Wars has any sort of specific greeting that they say? Like, do the Norn have something that they always say to one another when they meet?
By Ogden's hammer, what savings?
Oh my lord. Just kill me.
The scripts say, you got shinies? I like the Charm Merchant one. You broke it, I broke you. That was my Char voice.
And Chronicles of Tyria would like to thank everybody who did show up tonight, which, gotta say, I expected at least, I expected everybody but Suru, who is actually, as we pointed out, the only one who's been here that came from YouTube and Google and everything, and was not directly from the forums, and someone that we interact with on a pretty much regular basis. So, thank you for coming out to our one non-Chronicles of Tyria member. That's awesome. We need more people like you.
Basically what he's trying to say is Suru, who is a glorious human being, is the only person here who we haven't guilted because we talk to them daily on the forum.
Pretty much. Listen, alright, I mean, I guilt both Torin or Ormar or whatever the hell he keeps changing his name to, and Hedge, whose now name is something else, I don't know. Both of my friends in real life that I've known for anywhere from 10 to 18 years, who are also on our forums and also play Guild Wars, but they still won't listen to the podcasts or show up to these things. So,
Well, that's just because you don't have very many points put into persuasion.
Alright. I'm trying to keep up with the chat as it's happening. Alright, so why don't we actually do something somewhat productive? Even though I'm having a good time. Oh my god. It is just like the Chronicles of Tyria chat function. Exactly. Anyway. So I guess why don't we can start to kind of open this up to allow people to come in and talk for one at a time with the queue system here in Raidcall. Does anybody, and by anybody, well, anybody, have any idea of a good topic that we can kind of ask everybody about, and then kind of go from there?
Well, we could ask people's impressions of the stress tests, the plentiful amount that we've been getting here recently.
That could work.
I don't think
Tully,
much
you are a
changed
troublemaker.
from last stress test.
Well, we can poll everybody about that and see what they think, because I do know that some things did change. So, not much, mostly interface stuff. But, yeah, I think we can. Here, let's click Allow Queuing. So now you guys will be able to click the raise hand, and it'll allow you to come in here and talk. So it's kind of like a first come, first serve, and then when you guys are done, you hit I'm done, and then it'll allow the next person to come in. Boom. Queuing is allowed. So you guys should be able to jump in if you hit raise hand. It should say, raise hand, up where, if you see the list of everybody's names, it'll say lounge, and then it'll say raise hand, I believe, or wherever it is on your screen.
I think everyone's shy.
I guess so. I know! Come on, I know Navri's not shy. Or Zebra. Do you have a mic?
I think they're confused about what the question is. No, Zebra doesn't have a mic yet.
So he's in the queue, but doesn't have a mic. Nice.
Trying to prove he's not shy.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess we kind of jumbled all around the question there. I guess the question would be, what you said before was, what is everybody's impression of the more recent stress tests, and did anybody notice anything significantly different, or anything that they wanted to specifically call out that they saw? Because I know they changed some of the professions, the skills and the traits, and nerfed some stuff, whatever. Yeah, it's not.
I noticed that it was a bit harder.
Yeah, no, I did. I mean, if nobody wants to, I can talk on it. It's fine. I'm comfortable hearing myself talk. I do it every week when I re-listen to the episodes of the podcast. Oh, okay. And Navri's in there, so you're good to go, Navri. You got 298 seconds. So thank you for not being shy.
That's not enough time, lad.
Alright, so did you notice anything different?
Well, besides from all the stuff you guys pointed out, well, yeah, I did really like the bajillion plus different voice, crap, lost my train of thought, sorry. The different voices that your character would use. I know, it's my first time I've been on the internet.
I just posted a link in the chat for everybody. It's Guru, so I don't like doing that, but it was actually all of the changes from the most recent stress test, where a lot of you may notice huge changes to some of the skills and traits for your characters, because they changed a lot around. And I can tell you, as someone that likes the Elementalist and the Guardian, looks like we got a lot of nerfs in a lot of places. But I guess you can take a look at that.
I probably didn't notice them. I only played for like half an hour.
Yeah, no, you got him right.
And Navri, you play a Char, and you mentioned the voiceover editions, because we were kind of talking about it in one of the previous podcasts, but we didn't necessarily have like a decent list of what the Char says. So, have you noticed anything that yours says that is notable?
Yeah, I did notice a bunch of things, especially when he was summoning minions or going into Death Shroud. Most of the time it would be, he would say things more frequently, but like when a minion would die, he'll be like, whoops, there goes another one.
Nice. Yeah, we, like I said, we have, actually, and if anybody played a Norn, we'd love to hear from you too, because Char and Norn are the ones that we know the least about what they say.
We should drag Dan in here.
Yeah, so, alright, well, thank you, Anavri, for your input. Did you have any other ones that you remember from your Char?
I noticed something that, I think the Sylvari also said, or was it human? I'm not 100% sure, but if you went into Death Shroud, he would say, I am Death incarnate.
Oh yes, I think that was the Sylvari.
Yeah, I like the, I do like that they're all racial and profession specific, and pretty different. And actually, I noticed, as an elementalist, I had myself spec'd that in one of my traits, I would get Fury whenever I would attune to a different element. And sometimes, rather than saying whatever pompous Sylvari thing he would say, like, I am the element of air, whatever, he would say, I'm furious, because he would gain Fury. So it would change it up based on that, too, which was kind of cool.
I don't know if anyone noticed, but I thought this was really cool. When you talk to shopkeepers, and the shopkeepers say, oh, Excelsior or Good Day, now when you leave, your character actually says something, like my Sylvari was like, goodbye, you know, as she walked away.
Oh, I noticed that too. My Char would normally say, until we meet again.
Very cool. Yeah, I noticed we're getting a lot of complaints, and Tully, I have to agree with you. The Guardian got, shit on, for lack of a better word.
Cool.
Yeah, they totally destroyed, and, like, they tweaked a lot of stuff, too. They tweaked a lot of the wording. I think vulnerability used to say minus 30 defense was each, like, stack of vulnerability, and now they take 1% more damage. So they tweaked some of that stuff. I know they changed death penalty is now called downed penalty, not death penalty anymore, which is kind of different. And they tweaked the whole, the upper left-hand side of your screen where you have all the icons. They moved those all around and tweaked what shows up and what doesn't.
I also noticed that they changed a lot of the weapon icons.
Yeah, and they changed some of the crafting materials as well. Like, I know the piles of glittering dust look different now too. So, yeah, I did notice a lot of tweaks to, and there were tweaks to other professions as well, but it seems like the stuff for Elementalists and Guardians were almost entirely nerfs. Although I have noticed they've been tweaking a lot of the wording to say things rather than, you know, well, such and such a thing lasts longer. Now it'll say it lasts for 20 seconds, because I think they're kind of finally refining down the time frame and how much percentages they want different things to do. And they also, if you guys go to, there was that one build editor that was posted on the forums, the GW2 skills builder. That builder actually is up to date with all of the current skill and trait updates. So if you want to try to make a build before game comes out, that one has been up to date pretty much the day after any stress test.
It seems like the Ranger became a little bit more powerful.
Well, I heard
all the damage has gone up.
Yeah, I heard one of their big things is they fixed pet AI, so now the pets aren't retarded anymore. and they'll actually run around and do what you want them to do. Which prior to that, I don't know, I didn't really play Ranger, but I heard they were kind of awful.
Last beta weekend I thought they weren't too bad. I thought they fixed it in the third beta weekend because they do really cool stuff now, like they tank really, really well. And also they run ahead of you now, so what I absolutely hated as a ranger in Guild Wars 1 was you went in front and you would take aggro even though you wanted your pet to take aggro, but now they actually kind of run ahead of you.
Yeah, that's much, much better, I would think. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw this too. I also saw a video, which I'll link it in to you guys here, that shows 2 of the Sylvari racial elite skills, which I'm not sure if anybody saw. Well, look at Zuzi right here. I've seen them all. Well, anyway, there's 2 of them. But actually, I'd like to invite, if he's feeling up to it, I'd like to invite Jalinar in here to talk about the kind of rivalry thing he almost started. Or reinvigorated the old WoW versus Guild Wars debate.
Who was this? I couldn't quite hear.
Oh, it was Jalinar. He is the one who posted, well, I know he posted the one link on our forums about the one tombstone, and I don't know how, if it was him or whoever posted it on one WoW forum, but now there's a whole link about them complaining about that kind of stuff.
I was really surprised by that tombstone because for so long Guild Wars 2 has been so quiet and reserved about their dislike for WoW, and they wouldn't ever say anything quite bitter about WoW, but obviously that tombstone was all their repressed rage.
I see, here's the thing though, is I don't find it that big of a deal, mainly because, it was just like a small little joke. And they've thrown jokes about other games in Guild Wars 1, and they made Skyrim jokes in Guild Wars 2, and they've made Pokemon jokes in Guild Wars 2, and all these other jokes. So I just think that was one joke. I think people are taking it way out of proportion, and the people who are on the WoW thread discussing the BS about it, and they keep saying stuff like, "Oh, we'll wait until WoW comes out with some sort of Guild Wars 2 bash in their in WoW." Just watch how much all the Guild Wars 2 fans are gonna cry about it. It's like, no, because we don't care at all.
They have Mists of Pandaria. We win automatically. They needed to come up with stupid pandas to attempt to keep their series alive. Come on.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that if it was any other community, no one would take it seriously. Like if they took a shot at a different game, it wouldn't have really mattered, but because it was that sort of community, it's just blown up.
Yeah, so I don't know. Oh, they did. I wonder if they found it on the Guild Wars 2 Guru link. But anyway, I posted the link for you guys in the chat, and if this ever makes it to YouTube, which it might not because the giant amount of rambling that's happened so far, but you never know. If it does make it to YouTube, we'll post a link to that as well. Also, I think Char would totally destroy pandas in a fight.
Oh, I love one of these comments is from a person in WoW is like, who would learn the language of a fictional race? Oh, lady or man, you have no idea.
I saw that one too. I thought it was pretty funny.
This is WoW we're talking about. There's like the ratio of male to female players is like 99 to 1.
My bad. Because I'm a girl, I just don't think like that. And so when I see a girl character, I call it a girl. So I'm probably going to call a lot of people her when we start playing the game who are actually boys.
But you see, I was the exact same way. For so many years, I'd see a girl character, I'd think it was a girl playing it. And then I started watching all of the Guild Wars 2 videos on YouTube, and so many guys are playing as a girl. I was like, my world was just flipped on its head. I have no idea who is what or what is who anymore. So if you play a girl, Kaysee, or any other female listening, and you are an actual female, congratulations, and I'd like to thank you personally, because that drives me insane.
Yeah, I have. I mean, I'm not one to say anything different, being someone that's played female characters on and off. But I do think it's funny that out of all the people, that a lot of people do. Like, if you were to look, like Bridger, for instance, from Tales of Tyria, he plays a female elementalist. I think both Crackbone and Temperhoof, that we've also interviewed, both play a female elementalist. And I, for a while, played a female elementalist. And I also think it's funny that Kaysee's going to play a female elementalist, and Ella Cardellino also plays a female elementalist, and Naveen plays a female elementalist. Diint, you need to make a female elementalist to be part of the club.
No. No, I'm not going to.
So
you can't
defiant.
make me. I am not getting a sex change. It's about pride. It's a pride issue.
I totally get it. One time I asked the guy, I said, why do you play, when this was when I was younger, why do you play girl characters? You're a boy, you should play boy characters. And he goes, well, if I'm going to play the character all day, I don't want to stare at a boy's butt.
Yeah, I've heard that argument before.
But most people, I mean, like, there are people playing Char.
Yeah, exactly.
So
no, I don't agree with that. I mean, I understand. I know people that agree with that, and I think even one of the ArenaNet devs said that in a video when they interviewed him.
It depends how deep you get into role playing. If you get into role playing, of course you want to play whatever gender you identify with. But if you're not into role playing, you just see it as something that looks cool. I guess you'd want a girl because you think a girl looks cool.
Actually, yeah, I'll run this by you guys. I told Kaysee this. Like I said, it's not really conducive to what we're doing right now. But would you guys be interested in... I don't know if any of you guys ever played that game when you're younger, where like somebody... You kind of start like a story, and somebody says like a sentence or a line, or would write like a sentence or one line, and then the next person writes the next line, and so on and so forth until you get a whole story written by multiple people. I was wondering what you guys would think about doing something like that, but in a Guild Wars setting.
Oh my god, that is an amazing idea.
I'd like to point out that my fiancée, who doesn't play Guild Wars, came up with that idea. So it was her idea. So I think we should definitely try to do that.
I think Zoo likes the idea.
I wasn't sure, but what'll be great is that everybody will be able to see him saying all of these things because of the video that I'm capturing. Well, anyway, that's something that I think we should do, and I think we can have a lot of fun with that. And if we put that out on a podcast, like a legitimate podcast, and start the end of the podcast, whatever the sentence is, and then the next podcast we can kind of recap it at the beginning. And I think that would be kind of fun. And I figure that it would also be a good way to get any people, like, say, maybe people along the lines of Suru that would be, that like our podcast and stuff, but maybe aren't, super into like the story writing and stuff like everybody is on our forums, that'd be a good way to kind of break them into it as well. So we'd like to do a lot of kind of things like this, so if anybody has any other suggestions of kind of fun, easy to do community events like that, we'd love to hear it.
Oh, okay, since someone mentioned writing, I would like to point out that since people have been asking me why I have actually changed my profession in Guild Wars 2 from thief to elementalist, my article has gone live as of like an hour ago. Thank you, Kaysee. As to why I have changed my profession. So if you're interested, you can go read that.
I'll give you the short reason. It's because he wants to copy me and switch his character from a human to a Sylvari elementalist.
No. No, 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 no.
And I mean, he couldn't go to a female elementalist because we already heard his rant about that, so he went to a Sylvari elementalist instead. So he's almost like everybody else on that we've interviewed and that's on this podcast. Alright, how about this? So we know everybody loves Guild Wars 2 here. Why don't we go around, and if you guys want to come in and talk to us about it, that's cool too. Why not, why don't we talk about what everybody is looking forward to the most and is most excited to do in Guild Wars 2, their favorite part of it. How about that? Diint, why don't we start with you?
What's my favorite part of Guild Wars 2?
Yeah, what are you most excited about to play, you know, since release is right around the corner?
Come back to me in a second. Let me come up with something.
Kaysee, how about you?
It would definitely have to be the world. Like, I absolutely love how ArenaNet has built the world, and I mean, for the last beta weekends, pretty much all I've been doing is talking to people and seeing what they have to say and falling in love with the script and all that sort of thing. So I'm really looking forward to exploring the world and talking to characters and discovering lore.
Nice. Would anybody like to queue up and tell us live? If not, we can always read it, but... Well, Zeus, since you don't have a mic, why don't you... Diint's queuing up. Diint, you can just talk, you know that, right?
I know, but I just wanted to raise and queue up because no one was queuing, so I thought I'd queue. But I think mine, because I come up with a brief decision, mine is definitely the lore of it. I mean, that's the only reason why I became part of Chronicles of Tyria in the first place, was the lore. And I don't know, it's just I find it so exciting to kind of like tie up some loose ends from Guild Wars 1, from when we were playing then, and actually kind of see it from different perspectives from other races. And just the grand detail that ArenaNet goes into when it comes to their lore is just it can be overwhelming at times, but it's so epic and it's so addictive, really. I mean, whenever I'm playing, I'm not playing just to play a game, which is like what I used to do when I would play WoW and all those other games. I would play just because I like playing video games. But here it's like an interactive book for me. And so that's what I'm really excited for, is like the storyline, and then trying to get all of these other little hints and clues of the story from all these other small events. And so it was just I don't know, that's mine.
Alright, Zeus, since I know you don't have a mic, you want to type yours and we'll read it out? Okay. Anybody else in the meantime while Zoo thinks of his?
Really shy tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, I know we saw a lot of it. Come on, Jolinar. We talk all the time in Vent. Well, Jolinar not so much, just the vast time. So, okay. Zoo Zebra says all the 5 races and how they interact with each other. I like how no races are perfect and they all have a dark side with bad people. Awesome. See, simple, one statement.
That's a good answer.
Tully, it looks like he's heading out, so thank you for coming out and posting very interesting comments for us. That was awesome. Sorry to bring you the bad news about the Guardian.
Zoo brings up a really good point about the interspecies relationships between the different races or interracial relationships. I thought that was a really good part of the world as well.
Absolutely. I mean, your story wouldn't exist. At least the first chapter probably would. The first couple chapters wouldn't be able to do anything if there was no dark side of of any of the races either.
Yeah, it would be pretty boring.
Well, I guess I'll have to go since nobody here wants to talk. I mean, I know you guys aren't shy. We've gone back and forth in world versus world and stuff. Especially you and Avery. And Zoo.
I know, what's the deal with you?
Zoo also loves
Maybe because it's recorded.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think everybody's intimidated.
Well, no, I'm going to call BS on that because Navri was all up on the idea for a podcast. All up on it. Back before the podcast even existed. So I know he's not shy because we're recording.
Alright, so for me, my favorite thing, I mean, I've been following Guild Wars since the beginning. And you know what, I know, and I'm just gonna do this to kind of be mean to Avery a little bit, but Diint said the lore, and you know what, the lore is also one of my favorite parts. I love how in-depth ArenaNet has gone into all this stuff. I mean, the little things down to, I mean, look at New Crichton, which I probably stole that one from Jolinar if he was thinking about that. But, I mean, they developed an entire series, you know, several different language systems that, as we've seen, can be translated and, you know, relayed back to what they mean in English, which is, I mean, it's not unheard of before in a fantasy genre. I mean, Tolkien made the entire Elvish language, which is also a spoken language, which would be cool if ArenaNet found a way to make New Crichton a spoken language, but that would kind of be silly, because then you wouldn't be able to understand what your characters were saying. But, I mean, I love all of that stuff. I want to fight the dragons. I want to find out, if there's more than 5. I mean, we know there's 5. I don't know if anybody's watched Wooden Potato's new video, or fairly recent new video, about how maybe the Pale Tree is an Elder Dragon. I don't know. It's a pretty cool theory. Or a champion of an Elder Dragon. So that was pretty cool. But, you know what? Recently, I love World versus World. I love World versus World. And I wasn't even, like, that was something I thought was, like, okay, back when they first announced it in the PC Gamer from a while back. But I absolutely love yes, exactly, Jolinar, taking all the keeps. Taking all the Quaggan camps, even though that stupid storm generator doesn't seem to do anything. You know, the 3 of us, I think it was me, Jolinar, and Max, he's not here, because Avery was out, but the 3 of us were, like, take on a group of enemy players, and it was like, we just bowl over them, or keep going. It's great. So yeah, that's my favorite things. And you know what? I haven't tried SVVP, so I can't. Yes, and Jalinar pulling. I think it was you that pulled the entire crate community after yourself. Awesome, good times.
I have to agree with you. World vs. World has definitely been a much better experience than I expected it to. With my experience of playing any sort of online game, any PvP is just kind of filled with assholes and dicks, and that's just kind of what I expected. And it's never really been that fun for me. But World vs. World, especially playing with you guys, has been like surprisingly extremely fun. And even like during these past few stress tests, I was like, well, story can wait. I want to play World vs. World. Who's playing World vs. World? Anyone in World vs. World right now? And but personally, I think you should try out structured PvP as well. I mean, you don't really gain experience, you gain glory and all that other stuff, but it is very, very fun, and you actually get to play with like a max level character with all of the skills and the elites. I mean, you don't get any racial skills, but you still get elite skills and things like that, so it's very
Yeah, I tried it back in one of the very early, before, I think it was Beta Weekend 1, before Chronicles of Tyria was around, or maybe it was a stress test, I don't know, but whatever, I was in World vs. World and there was no one there, so I went to Structured because I actually wanted to play it. But, yeah, no, I love World vs. World. You can level up ridiculously, because I went up 4 levels, not this stress test, but the previous one, and that was from level 22 to level 26 in 4 hours. So I can only imagine if you started in World vs. World, how fast you could level up. I mean, assuming if leveling up is something that you're interested in doing outside of, you know, just straight up PvE content.
Oh, and Avery has queued up.
Have at it, sir.
Thank you very much. What I wanted to say was, I really liked about Guild Wars 2 was how it got me into all 3 aspects of it, both, World vs. World, structured PvP, and PvE. When I first saw the game, I just imagined myself playing PvE, because through my experience in WoW and other MMOs, I would just get obliterated because someone had, at the very least, 2 levels higher gear than me, then I would cease to exist moments later. And it wasn't really the case with that in Guild Wars 2, and I actually found myself having fun. And also World vs. World, I didn't really expect it to be that fun. I just saw myself as playing PvE and just focusing 100% on that, but I was completely blown away by how every single aspect was just suited to like practically perfection.
Yes, and giving cows the dream to fly is another thing that you're very good at doing in World vs. World.
That also is very fun.
Honestly, another thing I got out of the game, and this is just from the 2 betas I've played and the stress test galore that I've been playing now, is the sense of community out of it. Because with all the other previous games I've played, it's just kind of been like a one-man show, and I would sometimes tag along with people. I would sometimes be in a guild, but I'd be inactive for a long time and get kicked, or I would just leave. But here, it's just like, I mean, I found Chronicles of Tyria, and everything's just been great. I mean, what else can I say? I guess that's more of a compliment in Chronicles of Tyria than it is Guild Wars 2, but whatever. If Guild Wars 2 didn't exist, Chronicles of Tyria wouldn't exist.
I was going to say the same thing myself.
There's actually a great community in game, I feel, because a lot of the times when I was playing, it was very funny hours, because I'm in Australia, and so often the servers would be quite empty, and I would see someone in map chat just go, "This is up, I can't do it by myself, can I have help?" And I'll be, "Oh, okay, then I'll go and help them," and we had fun. And then later on, I found this hidden area with a crystal runner and all this special stuff from Guild Wars 1, and I really, really wanted to complete the event chain. So I opened up chat and I said on world thing, I said, "Look, I'm having trouble killing this guy, can someone help me kill him?" And almost instantly 2 people responded, and we got them to the special place, and we killed the god, and all I had to do was ask for help and it was there. And I feel like the community is very giving in that way.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. One of the things I really noticed about sort of like the community helping each other out in game is things like the Shadow Behemoth. Because I mean, normally it would just kind of be like, you know, trying to reap all the rewards, because previous games it would be like that. You know, it was a random drops, but someone else could get the drop and no one else would. But here it's just based off of soul, I guess, input on the whatever it is that you're doing, and everyone benefits from their own input into the action. So when things like the Shadow Behemoth, as soon as the swamp starts to wake up a little bit, you know, people are putting it into map chat so then everyone else can come in and kind of enjoy the huge boss battle that there is. And from other games that I've noticed, that has never happened before. If there was some huge event going on, it was basically, well, I hope you know about it because I'm not going to tell you, because if you're not here, then I'm going to reap all the rewards that you could be getting instead.
Yeah, Zoo just said that, you know, when he asked a question, people didn't laugh at him. They actually answered the question for him and helped him.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the most important things, actually, when it comes to the community on an MMORPG, is that, and I think this is kind of brand new, and I'm hoping it doesn't change over time as the game actually starts to open up a bit more and have more players, but from what I can tell so far, Guild Wars 2 doesn't have that many assholes in map chat, which is surprising, because any MMORPG I've ever played, it's just like you avoid trade chat, you avoid map chat, because anything you say can and will be trolled.
Yeah, I think like the worst thing that really happens in map chat that I saw was people were saying silly things, but I didn't see any profanity. It was just silly, which, you know, people are entitled to be silly, but and there was no profanity or hate or, you know, I think the worst thing I saw was, "Oh, I don't like this," or "I don't like this thing," and, you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion.
I know, this guy was hating on the crate because they kept killing him in Beta Weekend 3. He was so mad. And I told him, I was like, you know what? I actually said to the guy in game, I revived him and I killed all the crate that were around him. And my phone is going off again. And then I told him that all things had a right to grow. And then I ran away.
I like that.
Hello.
That is amazing.
No, it's not. Okay. Bye.
When you said you ran away, I kind of imagined you ran away like Dr. Zoidberg from Futurama, like woot, 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 woot.
Yep. Exactly. All things have a right to grow, why not?
The image is complete.
There you go.
Oh, just a quick thing, I thought it would be really cool to mention while there was silence. So, if you watch the podcast, you probably know that I'm a bit of a script lover. And I was hanging around Scriptsburg, and I noticed that there is, like, a person that you can talk to called Sir... I can't remember his name, but he's got a Sir title. And when you talk to him, he actually says that he likes jousting, and he found this picture book in the sewers of Divinity's Reach, and in it, you know, he really likes the tales of this knight and stuff like that, and it actually looks like there might be a mini game in Scriptsburg which is kind of medieval knight themed.
awesome. I am excited.
I'll see if I can find the pictures and I'll post them online. And also there's a lot of references in the Brisbane Wilds to Kryta, you know, what's it called, Lion's Arch around that area. And like, because you actually see, every now and then you see ghosts, and the ghosts seem to talk as if, and it says like we're meant to know them. And one lady I came across was, I don't know if you guys will recognise that, I didn't, but Jaden Fletcher. And she goes, what's happening, you know, what happened in the past? And then you have to kind of help her remember. But because I didn't know, I just kind of went through every one. And eventually I got the right one. Eventually she remembers who she is and she moves on.
Wow, that's really cool. I didn't spend enough time in the Brisbane Wilds, apparently.
Brisbane Wilds are full of script, that's why I was there.
Figure. Yeah, I know you also wanted to mention something about your contest too, Kaysee, before we get too much further into our rambles.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you know, thank you for everyone who participated in my contest. I will probably draw the winner today, which for you guys will be tonight. And good luck to everyone. I really enjoyed, you know, looking at everyone's responses to it, and I had a lot of fun with it. So thank you so much for your participation.
Yeah, I'm excited to see who's going to win. Also excited to figure out the answers, because I didn't actually pay attention. So, it was too complicated for me.
Oh, so you want me to post the answers?
Well, you don't have to. That'd actually be kind of funny. But if you want to, I'll leave that. I mean, it's up to you. It's your contest.
No, I will.
So, let's see. Well, that was good. I was a good little thing we talked about there. I'm happy about us actually covering things. So, what else can we talk about? Okay, so why don't we talk about everybody's... Oh, Jalinar. What? He's gonna raise his hand, maybe? Do it. Do it, you won't.
Raise it, boy, raise it!
Do it, you won't. Come on, everybody's doing it.
He won't do it.
Not everybody. Nobody's. Yeah!
Nobody's doing it.
You are good to go, my friend.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for actually talking.
Hello!
Well, I guess my favorite part of Guild Wars must be the lore, with all the languages. Yeah, and I'm actually translating Asuran right now. Yeah, it's easier than I thought.
I wasn't aware that they had a language until you mentioned it.
Would be. Yeah, they have one, and someone was talking about the viewpoints of each race, and what I'm translating is the history of the Asura, but seen by them. So they think they are the best and all that thing. I can read an example. We are all part of the eternal alchemy, and to strive it, perfecting it. We are the Asuras, lords of deep domains that are now denied to use overwhelming something because there was a wall and I couldn't translate the rest.
That's
Wow,
awesome.
that is so cool.
Yeah, I am excited to see the rest of your translations.
Only 50 screenshots to go.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
You forget an Avery. I will always hate on the Char. Always.
It's true. Because they're ugly. According to Diint.
Yes, and the Norn and the Asura. So, suck it.
Even though you like the Asura?
Shut up.
Yeah, well, no, I know a lot of us would be lost without your translations, Jalinara. Oh, Suru's coming in. Awesome. I like this.
Well, I'm done then. I'm gonna.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
I raised my hand because of Diint.
Uh-oh.
As well, cool. Very cool.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You just got told.
But they look like
in,
Gremlin.
it's Stitch. Stitch. You know Stitch?
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
this.
that's true. They do look like Stitch.
They do.
It's Stitch, but mean Stitch. Very mean.
An ugly Stitch. Ugly Stitch.
No. No.
Awesome.
I mean, Stitch was cute-ish, but I think that was mainly because he was cartoon. But I mean, when it comes to the Asura, I mean, it's just, God, they look like gremlins mixed with, who is it? Stewie Griffin?
Yeah, Stewie Griffin.
Oh.
And
No, shark plus more shark.
Yeah, Shark, exactly.
I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I get that, but I mean, that's not helping their cute factor. Sharks aren't cute.
Oh,
How are you going to
But
say
they're
that
also
during
quite
Shark Week?
nasty as well.
What the hell is Shark Week? I don't even know why everyone's freaking out about it. I don't know what it.
but for Guild Wars 2, before I played other MMO, and always I connect and bash thing. I don't know lore or thing like that. I go on bashing. But which Guild Wars 2, I have looked at lore by you.
Well, thank you again
Sorry for my
for
bad
supporting.
English.
No. I got you. Well, we appreciate that you come out and listen to the lore by us. That's very appreciated for sure.
Okay, I'll accept your reasoning for the Asura not being ugly and horrible. I mean, they are kind of dumps because they're so intelligent and all that stuff. And I will own up to the fact that I did actually say that I enjoyed them. However, the Char and the Norn, I was going to try and say it in French, but I'm not going to. They can kiss my ass.
Oh, go.
Of course he likes the Sylvari Zoo. He loves them. They're beautiful.
I don't like Sivai.
Well,
Why?
oh man, how could you not? Wow.
Sorry. I've played Sivai on the test on beta and it is a big salad. I don't know.
Awesome.
Different opinions and different views. Always welcome.
Yeah, I mean, if people didn't have different opinions, everyone would be playing the same race and class, like female elementalist. But
Whatever.
Oh, Jin, no, the Norn is big Viking. I don't know. It's you don't can tell peut embrasser mon cul like that.
see, I'm not good at French though, so
Go. I'm here.
He'll
oh,
help. Come
no,
on.
no, I'm not gonna say it.
Go on.
Go.
You made
Allez.
Kaysee sing the Quaggan song.
Yes.
But, damn it. Okay, I'm going to make a fool out of myself for the whole internet to hear me. Oh lord. Okay.
What a better
Non
place.
pour embrasser mon cul.
No.
Awesome.
Just no.
I love it.
I told you, I suck.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Zuru, for actually raising your hand and speaking to us, unlike other people who are here, remaining silent.
Well, actually, there's nobody else.
Oh, well, never mind.
We heard from Navri, we heard from Jalinar. Zoo doesn't have a mic, and Jolinar just left. What happened to,
Okay, well, yeah, then yeah, she's the person I'm yelling.
What about Al Carolina? She wasn't going to come join us? What you've all been waiting for. Let's talk Thomas Engine, then, before we wrap this up.
Finally.
Well, you gotta save the best for last, Kaysee. I can't let him have it right away. Alright, so, and I'm willing to take fan submissions and other Chronicles of Tyria member submissions and whatever else for ideas for Thomas Engine, because he is, I haven't really come up with too much of the concept of what he looks like, but basically, we've always wondered how it was the human gods were able to transport all the humans from wherever they were to Tyria. And I'm telling you right now that without the inventions and the crazy technology of Thomas Engine, that would not have been possible. He developed the means of transportation to get them from wherever they were to Tyria. So that is a fact. And he got them to Tyria and helped them construct the city of Or and Ara, and everybody's tired, so he came up with all these awesome stuff that allowed them to make these massive cities. And although he probably should have put more supports on it so it couldn't have been sunk to the bottom of the ocean, but you know, he wasn't thinking that far ahead. What else do we have on Thomas Engine? I think I kind of want to have him be somehow in some way related to the Char, or captured by the Char, or something to that effect. Not captured because he's a god, but somehow something like all of the scholars and the priests of Thomas Engine were captured by the Char during the Char invasion of Or, and you know, a couple of the Char and the priests managed to survive, and that's how it eventually translated to the Char having such great technology, because they stole it all from the humans, like they try to steal everything from the humans.
Thank you.
Ooh, that's that's a bit bitter.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's true.
But yes, they didn't just develop, Char didn't develop technology naturally over 250 years. It's because of stolen tomes and scriptures of Thomas Engine. They found, you know, blueprints and things from his workshop and were able to adapt that. I mean, it took them 250 years to figure out how to do it, but at least they had something to work off of. And being the noble soul that he was, he never requested any recognition for any of his work. And, you know, he's pretty much, he hasn't been stricken from the records of Tyria, but he's pretty much just been forgotten. And, you know what, he's sad, but he's not the vengeful type, so he's not going to call down any kind of fiery wrath. But, you know, Balthazar supposedly came to Lion's Arch and opened a new portal after the original Lion's Arch was destroyed, opened a new portal to the Mists. Well, he actually had Thomas Engine's help to make that new portal show up, because Balthazar doesn't know shit about portals. I mean, come on. He's like a hulking brute. He doesn't know that kind of crap.
You don't know shit about portals.
He
Look
doesn't.
at this guy, Thomas. He's helping out everybody right now.
Yes. Yeah. You can't hold 10 Pokemon. Thomas Engine can hold 10 Pokemon. He's more ripped than you.
Don't make fun of
I can
him.
just imagine. I can just imagine Balthazar like sitting with his hammer and anvil, like duh duh, and Thomas Engine is like, dude, seriously.
Yeah, those chains that held Abaddon, no, that was Thomas Engine's design. Thomas Engine's like, you take that hammer and you hit right here. Good, Balthazar. And that's how it happened.
I never came up with an awesome idea
I love it.
to get Wooden Potatoes to do an April Fool's episode for Thomas.
I love it. We're gonna have to...
That would be so cool.
Yes. We're gonna have to make that happen. Good Balthazar. Who's a good Balthazar? Yes, you are. You go fight those... you fight those battles. Yes, you do. Ermager Balthazar. Yes. Well, Thomas Engine, he wouldn't want to upset anybody. So, I mean, he's not taking advantage of Balthazar because the gods took advantage of him. So, Duena says she's the queen of the gods and the ruler of all of them. But Thomas Engine's the one that makes sure everything still works. Like, oh man, sucks to be in Ara. We have no indoor plumbing. Thomas Engine's like, got this. Fixes everything up. He keeps the lights on. You know, he really, without him, the gods would have just it would have just been awful. And, you know, he was like, you know what, why don't you
They wouldn't
guys...
have hot water.
Exactly. He keeps all the order. Yes. Maybe. Thomas could also be the Quaggan god. Why not? He could be the god of everything that doesn't have a god, because he's that cool. He's down. I'd hate to fight the if there's an Elder Dragon that relates to Thomas Engine, though. Be like the mechanical dragon. That'd be scary.
Just steampunk dragon, though. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I also think I want to make something where, like, the Black Citadel was originally, like, something really stupid that he designed as, like, a joke. And the Char thought it was amazing, and they made a city because they thought it was, like, some great invention. It was like, I don't know. I can't even think about what it could be. Like some stupid kind of like toy thing, you know, for Balthazar to keep him occupied. And he was just like made some like joke thing, and the Char were like, oh my god, this is great! This must have been his plans for an epic city! And they built it like that. And then like if Thomas were to show up, he'd like push a button like in the middle of the Black Citadel, and it like spins and winds up and makes noise.
I thought you were going to say if you push the button it would explode, and I'm like, oh, so it's the Death Star.
No, it's not that bad. Thomas Engine does not have flawed designs. He would not build a space station with a 2-meter wide port that would lead directly to the reactor core and cause the entire thing to blow up. That's just simple engineering.
Breathe.
Come on.
By the way, you did say you'd hate to see the dragon that related to Thomas Engine, but I linked a picture that would be awesome.
That actually would be pretty sweet. Yeah. That would be awesome. Thomas Engine is a human god. He wouldn't volunteer to help the Char. But, I mean, he wouldn't take back the technology that they found. He's not a dick.
Right, because he's a decent guy.
Exactly. I mean, he's not like, no, you guys should go wage war. Kill all the Char. That's a good idea. That's my Balthazar impression.
You forgot the derp at the end.
Duh. I don't think he hates fighting. I mean, he keeps order, but he also designs bombs and explosions and explosives and flamethrowers. So he can't hate fighting because that would put him out of business in one aspect of his, you know. I mean, basically, Thomas Engine is like, he's like the Tony Stark of Tyria, I guess you could say. He designs all the weapons, but then, maybe eventually he has this epiphany and he decides he has to work on non-weapon stuff. I don't know. I'm making stuff up. Yeah, Thomas Engine can be the god for strategy. Why not? I should. Thank you, Zoo. That would be fantastic. I'll get right on that. I would love...
That job would be amazing, though.
It would be fantastic. Then I could actually call Jeff Grubb like Jeff and wouldn't feel weird about it, because, I mean, it would just further our existing
Jeffy?
friendship. Jeffy, me and Jeffy. Jeffy and Ree, my buds.
Oh. Yeah, because, I mean, it's not like we're reading his books as if it's scripture or anything.
No, of course not. Yeah, I like what you have in Avery with the metal suit and cogs and gears. Yeah, I was thinking something very steampunky with tubes and, the vents with the steam coming out of it, and probably goggles. I feel like goggles are an important part. Yeah. Yes, clockwork, exactly. Yeah, no, I would also push for the Tyrian Bible if I managed to somehow get a job at ArenaNet to be a lore designer. The Tyrian scriptures would be a fantastic compendium to release. It would make so much money, I think.
I know I would buy them, and I would buy multiple copies, and I would be going around door to door saying, do you want to talk about Doom?
Have you accepted Dwayne into your life today?
Alyssa be with you.
And also with you. Go up to the different doors. Have you accepted... actually, you know what? You look more like a Balthazar person. It's a nice way to say, I don't think you actually understand.
You
what
look
I'm talking
stupid.
about. Yeah, exactly. New Chronicles of Tyria meme, everyone. Run with it. Balthazar is dumb, and we come with all sorts of good stuff like that. I'm Thomas Engine, and I approve this message.
Well, I think with that, I think we're pretty good.
Yeah, unless anybody has anything... Yeah, actually, Jalinar makes a very good point, since Cormier's followers are all blindfolded. But yeah, I will be, if you guys have anything you want to talk about Thomas Engine-wise, any other ideas, just lists of ideas, and eventually, if we do more of these kind of community roundtable things, type stuff, which I think it was fun, and if we come with more of a structure to the next one, this would be fun to do it again. I will compile ideas, and we'll try to work on coming up with a full set of lore for Thomas Engine that we can eventually hopefully submit to Wooden Potatoes. So if you guys want to email me, it's Lagwyn, like it's spelt here, at chroniclesoftyria.com. Just send me any, suggestions or things you have, and we can always, we can talk about it in game or talk about it on the forums and chat, whatever. But, I'll try to keep a list of all this, and we'll try to compile all the best ideas and make the lore out of that. I like that. Ticking. That's pretty cool. That'd be a good idea. Zoo, one every Friday. That sounds great, but 2 podcasts a week. I mean, we're going to be to 1 podcast soon, but on top of everything else, that would be a lot to do. I think.
Yeah. So
All right. So I think that's it. Let's wrap this up. So for the Chronicles of Tyria, not really scheduled questions and answers session, ridiculously long ramble rant session about nothing in particular. I'm Lagwyn.
I'm Diint.
And Kaysee's silent.
I don't think her mic is working.
I don't think it is either.
I'm here now.
Oh, okay. There we go.
I
So-
accidentally pressed the mute on my mic. I didn't notice, like you did last time.
Yeah. Also, I want to point out that when everybody heard me not talking last time, it's because I was actually so tired I was falling asleep. So I had my mic on mute because I didn't want to have snoring on the podcast. But anyway, so let's
What's
try.
funny though is that
Go ahead.
that would not be the first time that you had fallen asleep on Skype.
No, it would
So
not
I've heard.
be. I've done it before. You can ask any of my friends, like Dan or Hedge. I do it all the time, or I used to do it all the time in like
Or
Xbox
Naveen.
Live, or Naveen. In Xbox Live, like we'd be playing a game, and all of a sudden I'm like running into a wall in the corner because I fell asleep and just hit the joystick to the left and ran into a wall. And they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "What? No, I'm good." And they're like, "Dude, you're in a corner. There's nobody there." And I'm like, "No, I got this. We're good. Let's keep going." But anyway, let's try this again. So anyway, I'm Lagwyn.
I'm Diint.
And I'm Kaysee.
And we'll see you next time.